Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, so as I told you earlier, we are handling comprehension, where you are required to read a text, you are required to read a paragraph, a passage, and answer a few questions related to that passage. So for today, we are to handle one, and we are to answer some questions from that passage. So I wish I could get someone to read this passage, and so that we can start from there. And a volunteer to read, please.
Yes.
Yes, please. Who is this? Sorry?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you can read. Network is choking you.
I spent 8 days.
Network
Yes.
is poor, my brother. Could someone else read with a good network, please? Someone with good network?
I just returned from the greatest summer vacation. It was so fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris, France. My best friends, Henry and Steve, went with me. We had a beautiful hotel room in the Latin quarters, and it was even expensive. We had a balcony with a wonderful view.
Thank you. Next paragraph.
We visited many famous tourist places. My favorite was the Louvre, a well-known museum. I was always interested in art, so that was a special treat for me. The museum is so huge, you could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, "Enough, I need to take a break and rest."
Okay, go on.
We took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along the river Seine. The French food we ate was delicious. The wines were tasty too.
The beef played their roles incredibly well, which is the reason you eat it.
What they took was Maria screaming to make you believe that Ranbir had killed her.
And the rest of us played our parts very well. Every one of us screamed.
Please help me mute those ones making noise in the background.
Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. He said he would be happy if he could eat croissants like those forever. We had so much fun that we're already talking about our next vacation.
Okay. So that is a very short text and very nice. So I'm requesting 2 more people to read it once again so that we read 3 times. I'll explain later why. Then we go to the questions. Another member to read, please. Any other member?
Yes.
Yes, please go on.
A greatest summer vacation. I just returned from the greatest summer vacation. It was so fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris, France. My best friends, Henry and Steve, went with me. We had beautiful hotel room in the Latin Quarter, and it wasn't even expensive. We had a balcony. We had a balcony with a wonderful view. We visited many famous tourist places. My favorite was the Louvre, maybe a well-known museum. I was always interested in art, so that was a special treat for me. The museum is so huge. You could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, "Enough, I need to take a break and rest." We took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along the river Seine. The French food we ate was delicious. The wines were tasty too. Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. He said he would be happy if he could eat croissants like those forever. We had so much fun that we are already talking about our next vacation.
Okay, thank you. Another person? Another person, please. Hello?
Once I'm not seeing the work.
Okay, can you see now? Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, please, could you read?
Hello, what's going on?
Yes.
Please read.
I just returned from the greatest summer vacation. It was so fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days. I'm reading.
Yes, go on.
I just returned from the greatest summer vacation.
Okay, your network is poor. I think I'm leaving you.
Can I read?
Yes, please go on.
I just returned from the greatest summer vacation.
But why
It
are you
was
skipping the title?
a great summer vacation. I just returned from the greatest summer vacation. It was so fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris, France. My best friends, Henry and Steve, went with me. We had a beautiful hotel in the Latin Quarter, and it wasn't even expensive. We had a balcony with a wonderful view.
Go on.
We visited many famous tourist places. My favorite was the Louvre, a well-known museum. I was always interested in art, so that was a special treat for me. The museum is so huge, you could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, "Enough, I need to take a break and rest." We took lots of breads and sat in cafes along the river scene. The French food we ate was delicious. The ones were tasty too. Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. He said he would be happy if he could eat croissants like those forever. We had so much fun that we are already talking about our next vacation.
Okay, thank you very much. So could someone tell me what is the subject matter, or what is the passage about? Someone, please. Yes, Ayabale Emi. Ayabale? Someone else?
The subject matter is about the greatest summer vacation.
Okay. Could you throw more light on that? Could you explain more?
It's about the summer being talked about, where they went to a hotel, where they had a very good balcony view, and about the museum they visited, the food they ate, the croissants, and many others.
Okay, thank you. Any other person? Meanwhile, the others, you can use the chats to communicate anything that you'd wish to talk about in the lesson. So could I have someone else to give the subject matter or what the passage is about? Someone?
Guys, what's happening?
Jeremiah. Okay, at Gwanza Pasco. Okay, so when we read the passage, it's about a person. It's about a person praising the recent vacation that he had, and in the vacation he did enjoy the views. He enjoyed the museum. He enjoyed the foods. He enjoyed the walks and the breaks. So he's even reminiscing or thinking about the next vacation that he should have. So this person went with the two friends. So they went for a visit to certain places in Paris, that is France. And in Paris, majorly they visited a museum. So in that museum, they enjoyed a lot, except one of the friends got tired. And so that forced them to have lots of breaks during their visit. So this passage, in short, it's about three friends who went for a visit in France. They visited a museum. They enjoyed the food. They enjoyed the view. They enjoyed the hospitality. They enjoyed the accommodation. And in that case, they are hoping and planning to have the next vacation because they were happy with the previous vacation that they had. So are you listening to me, members?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please. So when you're asked what is the passage about, those who do literature, when you're asked what is the poem about or what is the text about, you don't just give one phrase and you end there. When you're asked what is the passage about, you give an explanation. In other words, you summarize the passage in the fewest words possible, but using your own words. So you don't use the words that are in the passage. You use your own words to summarize the passage. passage. Hope we have done some writing. Have you?
Yes.
Members, the other members, have you done some writing in paper 1? In paper 2 rather?
Yes.
Okay. So when they ask you what is the passage about, they want you to tell them in short and using your own words, what does the passage talk about? Let's assume now we have studied this passage here and I'm teaching, you are attending. And now in the evening, your mama comes home and asks you, what did you study today in English? You tell him, we studied comprehension. So she will ask you, what was the passage about? You don't tell her the greatest vacation I ever had. No, you just have to explain what was in the passage, not giving her the title. She did not request for the title, but rather requested for what exactly, in short or in summary, what did you study? So when a question comes and it asks you to give the subject matter or what is the passage about, you don't just give one phrase and end there and you think you have made it. So you just explain in short, you give brief notes, you give a brief explanation of the passage, the storyline in the passage. So that is it. So could, by show of hands, please, could you give names of people that are in this passage? Jackie in the
Teacher,
chat
your
says,
voice is too low.
my voice is too low.
Yes.
How about now? Is it too low
The
still?
same. Yes.
Oh no, it's that means it is you are away. So Jackie in the chat says the passage is about the great summer vacation Steve and the friends had in Paris and Paris, France, and had a lot of fun. Thank you, Jackie. This is correct. At least this one has given more light. It is summarizing the passage. Jackie, thank you. Keep it up. The others you can text in the passage. Shaba, your hand is up. Aisha, rather, your hand is up.
The participants in the passage.
Yes, the people in the passage.
We have Steve.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Do we have any other person? Aisha says only Steve. Do we have another person?
Henry.
Yes, Henry. Any other? Do you have any other person?
One.
Okay, we also have the speaker, because the speaker, we don't know his name or her name. The speaker is the one who gives us the names of Steve and the name of Henry. So the speaker is the third person. So there are 3 people who went to vacation. Question comes, of the 3 people, who was the most lazy? Do you still remember the passage? Members, do you still remember? Okay, Brave. Brave.
Repeat your question. I beg your pardon.
Who of the three people in the passage, who was the most lazy?
Henry.
Henry. Jovan and Bridget also says Henry. Do we have a different answer? Aisha says Henry was the laziest in the chat. Okay. Another person answers here. Yes, Peter Emma says Henry and Henry says Henry. Okay, thank you. So in the passage, we have the three people. We have Henry, we have the speaker. So in that, Henry is the most lazy because could you give reasons why you think he was the most lazy? Someone? By show of hands, please. Why do you think Henry was the most lazy according to the passage? Anyone? No one. So the answer is here. Someone to read here, please. Someone to read.
Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, "Enough, I need to take a break and rest."
Okay, thank you. So what is supporting that answer is here. Could you continue and read here?
We took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along the river Seine.
Okay,
The
thank you
French
there.
food we okay.
Thank you. So we took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along the river Seine. So it means the lots of breaks were brought by Henry every time saying, let's take a break, let's take a break, let's take a break. So that is the reason as to why all of you said Henry is the most lazy. Okay, now we go to the questions. If the passage is still, let me read first through the passage, then we got the questions straight. The passage is a great summer vacation. I just returned. Is my voice low?
Yes.
It's okay.
I don't know what has happened.
Yes.
Sorry, let me turn to project it. A great summer vacation. I just returned from the greatest summer vacation. It was so fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris, France. My best friends, Henry and Steve, went with me. We had a beautiful hotel room in Latin Quarter, and it wasn't even expensive. We had a balcony with a wonderful view. We visited many famous tourist places. My favorite was Louvre, a well-known museum. I was always interested in art, so that was a special treat for me. A museum is so huge, you could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, enough, I need to take a break and rest. We took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along the river Seine. The French food we ate was delicious. The wines were tasty too. Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. He said he would be happy if we could eat croissants like those forever. We had so much fun that we are already talking about our next vacation. So having listened to the passage 4 times, these are the questions. The first question, could someone read? Could someone read, please?
What city did
they go to for their summer vacation? A.
Okay.
Paris. B. Latin. C. Love D. Lyon.
Okay. In the text, please, in the chats, use the chats. Someone says A. This is Brave says A. Hope says Paris. Henry says Paris. Giovanna and Bridget says A. Aisha says Paris. Peter Emma says Paris. Salma say A. Any other? Okay, so those are the answers, brave. Those are the answers that I see in here. So the places they visited, the city they visited was Paris. And which country was Paris?
France.
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 Thank you. So all those who attempted to answer the question, it is A, it is correct. Paris, those who put Paris, correct. And those who put A, it is correct. We got question 2. How long was the summer vacation? How long was the summer vacation? I check in the chats. Maybe I read. How long was the summer vacation? A, 2 weeks. B, 1 week. C, 8 weeks. D, 8 days. I check in the chat. Okay. Peter Emma says D. Aisha, 8 days. Singer, D. Brave, D. Henry, D. Okay. Ayabale Ime, your hand is up. What is it? Ayabale? Okay. So D, D, 8 days. Let's check, let's cross check with the passage. Let's cross check with the passage. I just returned from greatest summer vacation. It was fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris, France. My best friends Henry and Steve went with me. We had a beautiful hotel room in the Latin Quarter, and it wasn't even expensive. We had a balcony with a wonderful view. Okay. We took lots of breaks and sat in cafes along River Seine. The French food we ate was delicious. Tasted 2 favorites. He said he would be happy if we ate croissants like the museum is so huge you could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking. Okay, I was always interested. So in here the relationship we see. Before I say something, could someone by show of hands explain why you said D, why you said 8 days? Ayabale, your hand is up and I call you every time you don't say what you have to say. Could someone explain why it is 8 days? Others, you can use the chat. Any person to raise a hand and give an reason as to why he or she says 8. Yes, Giovanni and Bridget.
I give my answer as 8 days because in the passage the speaker was saying that he and his friends spent 80 days in the vacation.
Okay. Let's read it through slowly and we see. Yeah. Okay. I just returned from the first paragraph. No, we visited many famous tourist places. My favorite was Rova, a well-known museum. I was always interested in art, so that was a special treat for me. The museum is so huge you could spend weeks there. Henry got tired walking around the museum and said, sorry?
It's in the first paragraph.
Okay. I just returned from a greatest summer vacation. It was fantastic. I never wanted it to end. I spent 8 days in Paris. Okay, 8 days. That is correct. We got the next. Thank you. Is this Bridget? Bridget, thank
Hope.
you. It is Hope.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Could someone read on my screen now?
What did the hotel room have? A balcony. B, a refrigerator. C, a bottle of wine. D, a view of the metro.
Okay, we use the charts. We use the charts. Okay, a brave says A, Singer says A, Hope says A, Salma says A, Elisha says a balcony, Peter Emma says A, Jackie says A, Giovanna and Bridget say A, and Henry says A. Thank you. Okay, when we read here, okay, we had a balcony with a wonderful view. Yeah, so A, it is correct. Thank you all that gave the answer. And the question 4, could someone read? Could someone read? Someone, please. Okay, I will read. Who got tired walking in the river museum? The answers in the charts. In the chat, Brave says D. Giovanni says D. Henry says Henry. Any other answer? Okay, Elisha says Henry. Okay. So let's check from the passage. The person who got tired every now and then and said enough. Let's have a break. It is Henry. That is D. So D is the correct answer. Now the final question. Could someone read?
What did Steve enjoy the most? The Latin Quarter and the balcony, the hotel breakfast and the croissants, the cafes along the River Seine, the wine and the food.
Okay, thank you. What did Steve enjoy most? So in the charts, Jackie says B, Salma says B, Elisha says B, Singer says B, Jovan B, Peter Emma B, Brave B, Henry B. Any other answer? Okay, Sam Junior says B. Hope says B. Okay. Let's check in the passage. Steve, we are checking for Steve. Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. He said he would be happy if he could eat croissants like those forever. So Steve, it is the breakfast and the croissants. Let's check in the question 5. The hotel breakfast and the croissants. Congratulations, the answer is correct. So there we have finished our work for today, and I wish to ask some questions away from this. So in the passage, most times what does it miss when you're given a passage, giving the meanings of words as used in the passage. And so we have several new words in here. One, you can be given, let's say, quarter. Could someone give us the meaning of the word quarter as used in the passage? Someone? The others can also use the chat. No one? I do not also see any message in the chat. Members, are you on?
We are on.
Yes.
Okay. What do we mean when, according to the passage, what does the word quarter mean? If you add the word Latin, maybe. We had a beautiful hotel room in the Latin Quarter. What does it mean? Latin Quarter is the hotel. In the Latin hotel, the quarter is Latin Quarter is a hotel. So it can be we had a beautiful hotel room in the Latin hotel. So quarter is a place. It can be a place where people live or sleep. Majorly, these quarters are built by the government, and they are always occupied by the government employees. Like, for example, those people who stay in Kampala, we have those quarters in the along Kira Road, opposite Kira Police Station. So those are quarters. They are built by the government majorly for government employees. So these people, when they went, they slept in the Latin quarters. So the Latin quarters may be some houses that belong to the museum. Remember, the museum, they told you it can take you weeks to visit, so to walk around. So that is the reason as to why they had lots of breaks in. So it means within the museum or within the place, they have places of residence, and one of them was the Latin hotel, place of residence. So the other question, the other word may be on this page. Let me see. What are croissants according to the passage? Croissants? Someone to give an answer? We don't have anyone in the chat. Maybe someone to raise a hand and give us the answer. What are croissants according to the passage? Members, are we on? Okay. Before I go on, okay, well done. Croissants, when to understand fully the meaning of the word in the passage, look at the words that are around it, maybe before that particular word or after that particular word. So when you look at the words around that word that is being given, you remove it and substitute it and see if it can be substituted with any word and the sentence still makes some meaning. So in here we have, he said he would be happy if he could eat croissants like these forever. So remember, the previous sentence is Steve's favorite part of the vacation was the hotel breakfast. So croissants can be, if you could eat foods like these. So croissants can be the foods and majorly the French foods. So someone is speaking and I can't hear well. Okay, so croissants are the foods, the French foods. So if you say, he said he would be happy if he could eat foods like this forever. So you see the word food substitutes the word croissants. If you can check on Google, maybe if you can access, check what croissants are. So in there, in here, our passage, I pray and believe that we have fully understood the passage. I'm going to share this. So try to read as many passages as possible and get acclimatized or get used to as many new vocabularies as possible, so that tomorrow when you meet a new word in a given passage or a given text, you do not fumble. You know what exactly or what the meaning of that word is. So I encourage you members to read extensively and get a lot of vocabulary in your head so that it becomes easier for you to read and understand a text. So it is a must, a comprehension text has to appear. So when you read as many as you can, you will not find hard time interpreting comprehension texts. So in case if anyone has any question, please, I'm ready to answer the questions. In the chat, Hope says French food. Henry says it's a type of food. Elisha says a type of breakfast. Salma says a type of bread. Peter Emma says food eaten in France. Salma says butterfly shaped. It's nice with honey and butter. Thank you. So the end product, the end answer is it's a French food, and French food are food. So the answer is food. All these answers are correct, especially Salma, who went on and gave it is butterfly shaped. It's nice with honey and butter. So thank you, Salma. Thank you, Peter Emma. Thank you, Elisha, Henry, and Hope. So any questions? Any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please. This is
Salma.
Yes, Salma.
When they say that at that part where it says Latin quarter, does it mean that there are also other quarters like French quarters or maybe
yes,
Spanish quarters?
Yes. So like if to explain this more, like at your schools, we have dormitories. So in your dormitories, you might have a dormitory that is named like a country, like Uganda dormitory. You have dormitories named as names of people. Let's say Emma dormitory. So those, if you have Emma dormitory, that means you have Salma dormitory and you have Mary dormitory. So the Latin Quarter, those are the names of hotels. Yeah. Let's say we know hotels where they name halls and names of countries. Latin, you know, it is in Italy. So We can have also Paris quarter. I slept in Paris. Someone comes home and tells you, hey, we went to Gulu and I slept in Paris. Now you get confused. How did he sleep in Paris in Gulu? Is Paris in Gulu? So that guy has slept in a hotel called Paris, but that hotel is in Gulu. Yes, Henry, your hand is up.
Master, can you call them
Apartments? Yes, correct. Those are apartments. It is correct. But there's a difference in an apartment and a hotel. An apartment is usually you rent it, whereas a hotel you sleep in maybe 1 day or 2. But an apartment you can rent for a month, you can rent for a year, you can rent for even a century. So an apartment is, yes, it is an accommodation, it is a house, but for it it can be rented and it can have residents. Yes, like what I said, the Kira quarters are apartments where people rent. But in this case, the museum, you book a room and you sleep in a room maybe one day or a night or a week and go away. An apartment you can rent for a month, you can rent for years. Thank you. Any other question? In the chats, Sam Junior says, thank you for the lesson, Teacher Emma. Okay, thank you, Sam. Salma, I have understood. Thank you, teacher. Thank you, Salma. So if there is no any other question, I beg to stop here. Okay. Thank you, members, and have a nice evening.